Last night, we showed you two area dog breeders with a host of violations under their belts, yet they're still in business. And tonight, our Katie Koppel takes a look at the different breeding licenses and the regulations commercial breeders are expected to follow.
Puppies in general are kind of the one purchase people make without doing any research. When we buy a car, we read reviews, we test drive the cars, the same with buying a house. But these companion animals that we're purchasing that will live with us, hopefully for 20 years, this is the one area where people are not doing their research.
Bringing a puppy into your home is exciting. Deciding where to get your new companion from is the first big decision. If you decide to purchase from a breeder, how do you know if that breeder is considered a puppy mill? A puppy mill is defined as a commercial dog breeding facility putting the profit over the well-being of the dogs. Iowa is no stranger to puppy mills.
Iowa is very, very rich in agriculture. Well, that means we're also rich in dog farms, and that's essentially what these are. These are breeders who do not farm livestock type animals for food consumption. They are farming and mass producing puppies to be sold to the public.
Each breeder is required to be licensed, but what license they carry depends on how they sell their puppies.
Commercial dog breeding facilities are licensed in one of two ways. The first way is by the state. So there are some facilities licensed by the state of Iowa here, and they're licensed by the state if they are selling primarily directly to consumers and they're not crossing state lines. If they are crossing state lines, they're selling sight unseen by shipping their animals, or they're selling via third party like pet stores, they're more than likely going to be USDA licensed.
Just because a facility carries a license doesn't mean they are considered a reputable breeder. Most of the breeders listed on the Humane Society's Horrible 100 report are licensed, but they have accumulated numerous violations and are still in business.
We have documentation where dogs and puppies' feet and legs are falling through cages. They can't stand on their own. Some of these animals have broken limbs and they can't put weight on them at all. And yet the only punishment is getting a violation on an inspection report.
Inspections are done based on regulations set by either the state or the Animal Welfare Act. Here in the state of Iowa, new regulations for breeders began July 1st, like raising the minimum temperature for breeding facilities by 10 degrees and requiring a solid resting surface in kennels for the animals to lay on.
With the new regulations coming down the pipeline in the state of Iowa, we've got a big question mark in the air of, well, what is that going to mean? Are we going to just see more inspection reports with violations? Or, and this is what I'm hopeful will happen, are we going to see the State Department of Ag actually come in and start pulling some licenses?
We really need the Iowa Department of Ag to step up and enforce the regulations they have in place. We need the USDA to do something very similar. These two agencies are really just inspection agencies. They don't exist to save the animals from these facilities.
Callison says while there are still too many puppy mill breeders open, changes have been made.
The laws have changed a little bit here in Iowa. We've seen a lot of the worst puppy mills close down, whether it was because of age or because of public pressure or public awareness. But we've also seen more pop up.
Moore says not all breeders are bad, but those that are take away from those who take care of their animals.
I think that this industry is just inherently cruel. And it's unfortunate because we do have some amazing, reputable breeders in the state, and I'm proud to work with them. But we also have a fair number of folks like this who are giving breeders a bad name. They are looking to make money. They're not necessarily looking at making sure these animals get good forever homes.
So what can the public do to help put an end to puppy mills?
A lot of people, when they read those reports, they think they need to go save a puppy from that facility. But you're not saving a puppy from a pet store. You're not saving a puppy from a puppy mill. What you're doing is you're creating a hole for another puppy to be put in to be sold again. You're proving there's a demand for the product. But the other thing that people can do is contact their legislators. Here in Iowa, we try all the time to get a puppy mill bill passed or an animal cruelty bill passed. And it takes all of us from across the state to contact our legislators and strongly urge them to pass new laws.
I'm Katie Koppel, Siouxland News.
To read more on both state and national breeding licenses, you can check out this story on SiouxlandNews.com. While there, you can watch part 1 of the series on violations we found at 2 breeding facilities right here in Siouxland.